Morning, boys and girls. We are on math lesson 28. We are talking about multiplication tables and how to use those today. Page 168 in your student book to follow along, and I would get a piece of lined paper to take notes since you don't have your math notebook. So I am going to start on the problem-solving problem that is on page 168. Let me show you. Okay, it's right here, the bottom. Okay. Mental math, it's good practice for you to do. You can do that with a parent or a sibling. But we're going to start with this story problem. So I'm going to read it to you. It says, one day, the hour hand moves around the face of a clock once every 12 hours. How many times does the hour hand move around the face of the clock once a week? Okay, so we have to think about what we know. So it tells us that it moves around the clock once every 12 hours. We know that one day equals 24 hours, right? So we know that kind of gives us some information that in one day it moves around twice because 24 is 2 sets of 12. So that is how we know that one day it moves around the clock 2 times. All right. Oh, and it asked us to find a week. So we also know that in a week is 7 days. So that is good information to help us with this problem. So we're asked to find how many times it moves in a week. So there are 2 ways to do this. One is repeated addition and one's multiplication. So you can take 2 and add it together 7 times and you're going to get 14. You can also multiply the number 2 times 7 because there are 7 days in a week. It moves around the clock twice in a day, and you can multiply 2 times 7. You're going to get 14. Either way you do it. So then you need to restate it, answer the question, because it is a story problem you have to label. The hour hand moves around the clock 14 times in 1 week. All right, so our math lesson today, I'm going to read a little bit of information from the book for you, but you can follow along. You can do this part as well. Here we show on page 169 is where I am. Here we show sequences for counting by ones and twos. So if you look on 169, they have the sequence for counting by ones, counting by twos, right? Those sequences, counting by threes, counting by fours, are going to appear in our multiplication table that we'll be using. So you should have gotten something that looks like this from your substitute on Monday. This will go into your math reference folder when we're done today. You can use it as a reference on your homework or any math assignments that you do at home. Not on tests, but on your homework assignments. You can use this to help if you're stuck on a multiplication problem. So that is why you have that, and it's a good reference. So as I'm doing it on here, you can follow along on your own multiplication table, and you can circle and star with your pencil, however you want to do that. I would use a pencil and not a pen because there'll be lots of that. All right, so we have, let me go back here, our multiplication chart, and I can't write on it, so I have to kind of recreate the multiplication chart to solve a problem. All right, so how it works is, say I want to multiply 3 times 4. So what I'm going to do, if you look, I have a little zooming button. I'm going to go over, so I'm going to go on the row. A row is horizontal. I'm going to go over 3, and I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the answer to 3 times 4. 3 is my number here. 4 is over here. I'm going to show you how I redrew that. So I went over 3, down 4. It really looks a little sloppy. I apologize for that. And I got 12. So 3 times 4 equals 12. Now, the vocabulary of what these are. So 3 and 4. Those are the 2 numbers we multiplied to get the answer. Those are called factors. The answer to a multiplication problem is called a product. Like in addition, when we have 2 add-ins, or 3 add-ins, or 4, and a sum, right? Except this is multiplication, so we have 2 factors, and we have a product as the answer. Okay, so I rewrote that. Numbers we multiply are factors. Answers to a multiplication problem. An answer to a multiplication problem is a product. Okay, so an answer is a product. The two numbers we multiply are factors. I'm going to teach you a couple more vocabulary words. These are actually ones that we have already kind of learned about just with addition, not multiplication. All right, so this is a big one. This is the commutative. I'm going to abbreviate a little bit. The commutative property, I'm going to put prop of multiplication. Okay, the commutative property of multiplication. What this says is you can change the numbers, the order of the numbers, but they're going to be the same. Either way you put the two factors, the product is going to be the same. So instead of writing out words for the definition, we're just going to show examples. So I'll give you one more. Or 5 times 6 is going to equal 30. Whew. 6 times 5 is also going to equal 30. Let's just use our chart to show us that. So go over 6, okay, down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. It equals 30. Okay, and now we have some more multiplication properties. We have the property of 0. This one's fun. All right, so we have the property of 0, and this is, we had something like this earlier. For multiplication, all this is, anything times 0 is 0. So 5 times 0, that's going to give us 0. 1,000 times 0, you know what? That is also going to give us 0. 500 times 0, that's 0. Anything times 0 equals 0. What? That's it. That's all that is. And then we have one more, the identity property of multiplication. This one is fun too. Okay, all this is saying is anything times 1 is itself. I'll show you what I mean. 5 times 1, that's going to be 5. 4 times 1,